Roger, go for deploy.
I just want to see myself, I look to, broadly speaking, I want to see myself getting out of my comfort zone. So the point of all that was saying, I don't want to retire at whatever time that might be and say, oh, I only did the one thing my entire life. Maybe I go and do in a similar industry, but I branch off and do marketing in Hewison Private Wealth or whatever. But I want to be able to be in a position where I could potentially take 3 months off a year and travel with my family.
Hello, gang. Welcome back to Adventure Street Radio. So today, for you, we have our great friend Andrew Hewison. Huey was on the show pretty recently talking about finances and all things investing. It was a fantastic chat. Had a great time. Everybody loved it. He's actually back on the show today, and we didn't really talk too much finance and all that bizzo. It was just more of a general chat, and it was a really good one. So hope you guys enjoy it. This show is brought to you by Quash Creative. Head to quashcreative.com and use and quote the code radio when you speak to the guys there, and you will get a free SEO report or a report on your current or existing brand. We get compliments all the time on our intro track for this podcast, and that was the guys at Quash, Sean Marsh, friend of ours. The guys at Quash created that intro, so yeah, they're really good. All things creative. Check them out. It's also brought to you by Audible. Check out audibletrial.com/ADVF radio for your free audiobook and 30-day free trial. If you're not listening to audiobooks, guys, you're kidding yourself. And lastly, we are brought to you by Adventure Fit Travel. So, guys, Adventure Fit Travel at the moment has a program that we're rolling out to all gym owners, affiliate owners, communities around the place. Basically, we put together an awesome adventure itinerary for you guys. Gym owners travel for free. There's huge money to go back into the gym if you sell tickets for us. It's basically like everybody wins partnership. The community get to pick their gym, and it's something that's a point of difference in the community. So if you want to learn more about that, you can email me directly at doc@adventurefittravel.com. Other than that, head to our website and see all the trips that we've got coming up. We've got, I think, off the top of my head, Iceland, New Zealand, Australia, Kokoda, Bali, Vietnam, Greece, Hawaii. I don't know what else. We got a lot of trips out there. And if you use the code word radio at checkout, you'll get 10% off any and all of those. So enjoy the show.
He was getting fired. That reputation to uphold, you know how it is.
Yeah, that was my goal when we first came on the show, just to like probe you to a certain level where you just go nuts and just make the most aggressive sexual gags.
I don't know whether you got me.
No, you did really well.
You went real harsh on people with depression. Yeah, you gave him a real turn over.
Gave him a real crack.
What's the point if you're not going to be, a little bit opinionated about something?
That's right.
Yeah. Depression's fake.
Andrew Hewison, depression is fake.
Buddy got his shit together. That obviously was a real. That was.
He must have heard the
He listened to the podcast, didn't he?
All right, we're back on Adventure Street Radio, and we're back with our great friend Andrew Hewison for round 2.
Welcome back, mate.
What's happening, boys?
Welcome back, Huey.
Got the beers out Friday night. Let's rock and roll.
We do. We're on. Got a couple of those beers lined up.
I've got the sleeves rolled up.
Yeah.
Huey, what's been happening, man? What's been happening since we saw you last? You must have a bun pretty close now. Bun in the oven.
Yeah, like that's it's mate. It's seriously, I'm that excited.
Yeah,
I'm that excited. We could do a podcast about prenatal if you want.
When's the date?
We're 2 sessions down on the birthing education classes.
Oh yeah,
2 hours every Monday night.
Really?
Hey, fun.
Yeah, between 7 and 9.
Okay.
Tell me what happens at about 8:30 on a Monday night for the last two Mondays.
Oh, has there been a TV show?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. I sat down. We had a break in the first one, and I sat down. The lady who runs it's an absolute star.
Yeah.
And I said, geez, you'd want to be good this second half. She's like, what? She's like, I'm missing Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Two or three other blokes in the room going, yeah, so am I.
Yeah,
Unless this is a
blokes streaming it back on their phone.
Yeah.
Listen. And then the baby comes out.
Right. So, guys, when you wrap your arms around your wife going through the active stage of labour, and we're like, what? Khaleesi? Yeah.
Fuck, Khaleesi's mint. I mean, yeah, cool. Go for it.
But, yeah, like that thing, like, that's a massive trip out. Like to sit on the couch every night. Joe's about 7 months. And to sit on the couch every night and watch this alien thing in her stomach just bash the shit out of her stomach.
Find its way out.
Yeah, and we don't know what we're having. So I'm like, damn, is that, is that a boy or a girl? I think we're having a girl, but...
Couple of names? Any thoughts?
Khaleesi.
Yeah, good one.
Daenerys
Aya.
Mother of Dragons.
Aya Stark.
That's insane.
Ned, if it's a guy. No.
Or
I still can't believe that killed him off in the first series. How did that happen?
It was.
Anyway,
it was insane.
Ned, if it's a guy. Nah.
It's a lovely daughter, Netherlands.
Such a secret thing, the names.
Yeah.
You know?
Tom,
But,
definitely Tom.
I'll tell you what it's not going to be because I don't know why, but I decided for a period there that I wanted Rocco if it was going to be a boy.
Okay.
It's a terrible name.
Well, we went down to the park the other day and someone yelled out, called their dog,
Sorry,
Rocco. Joe turned, she's like, okay, well, that's off the list.
Hewison, love Hewison.
I reckon that's a good call, Huey. I'm not a big Rocco. I don't know why I just wanted to be so opinionated about that.
you don't like Rocco, mate?
Yeah, I don't know why.
So, you know what? Seriously. So that aside, obviously, if this was a TV show, it'd be pretty obvious. But I'm in a sling at the moment, so I had a shoulder reco 4 weeks ago. Supra, 13 millimeter tear in my supra spinatus, which is basically all the way through, and a bicep tendon tear. So 6 weeks in this bad boy. I'm wearing it now for show. I stopped wearing it after about 2 weeks. But it's just you don't get much sleep, boys. If you have a shoulder reco,
I've had a shoulder reco.
Oh yeah, you just sleep.
Sucks. Because the problem was I had to sleep on my back.
Yeah, same.
And I'm not a back. I'm like this.
Yeah,
I'm
all over it. Hell yeah. On the stomach, the side. And then they put you this thing and they go, just sleep in a recliner for 6 weeks. Sure. Yeah, cool, mate. All right. Do I get sleeping tablets for this or what's going on there?
Yeah.
I was just pacing, but I went to the physio the first time this week to just start moving it along. Bill, it's painful, not. It's
man.
like, but it's like, I'm going to get in there. They're going to give me some 1 kilo weights to start. No. Just use your other hand to start pushing it just a bit further than you did before. Like
and you move up to the rubber band.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a humbling experience.
Yeah.
But mate, those two things are kind of what I wanted to get. Those two things. Joe's being pregnant. I want to get this done before the baby turns up. Well before. Just working. Just putting the head down and business is great.
Yes, nice.
Obviously, my job as MD is not so much on the tools as much anymore. Like going out there and trying to bring new clients in. It's like I think I said last time. It's like spinning plates. You just always have to keep focused on, and as soon as you turn your back on something for a period of time, it bites you in the backside and reminds you that don't ignore me. But just trying to get through winter. Melbourne's been bloody dark. It's been so dark. So looking forward to a bit of summer action.
So how do you keep things in line at Hewison Wealth then with all those plates spinning, Huey? I feel like, because at Adventure Fit, I feel the exact same way. Like any time that, I feel like I don't need to oversee absolutely everything, but you need to check in from time to time. Like, how do you keep all your procedures all running smoothly,
Yeah. Okay, so we're still classified as a small business, small to medium-sized business. We've got about 29 staff.
Shit.
But without getting into too much detail, depending on how deep you want to go, but we still run a very simple business, right? Our job is to go and get new clients and service the ones we've got. And that's it. And we charge a fee on what we do for them. And beautiful business model. God bless my old man for starting it. We control the bank account of our clients, of their investment portfolios. We charge fees out of them, direct debits monthly in arrears. We always know if they don't have enough cash, we can't sell things on their behalf, but we can see when they're going to run out of cash, and we tell them you need to sell something. To make sure you've got enough cash to fund yourselves, but also to make sure we get paid as well. We don't have any stock. We don't have any debtors. It's a very simple business model.
Cool.
It's a very nice
really
business
cool.
model.
Yeah, it's it's crazy.
You're taking the piss, Huey. Come on, let's be honest.
You're literally a milkman.
But yeah, I got a really good sort of right hand lady, our practice manager. She looks after HR compliance, and sort of the financial bookkeeping sort of thing. I've got a great head of client services, sort of that runs the back office. I look after the planning team. So it is about checking in, and that's the thing. And we are, even though you're selling product or service, we're in the people business.
Yeah.
Right? And at the end of the day, it's people business from a client point of view. It's all about, for us, it's, yes, we've got, we know what to do with strategy, we know what to do with where to invest money, etc. But at the end of the day, we've got to build long-term, long-lasting relationships with our clients, because the reality is one day we are going to screw up, and you want to make sure you've got the relationship there so that you can sit in front of someone, eyeball them and say, look, we catch up. I'm not just here for the first time in 2 years to tell you something's gone wrong. For the last 2 years, we've caught up once a quarter and told you all about the great things. But maybe you have to have a difficult conversation. You want to make sure you're prepared for that. Financial services businesses are, without doubt, from an industry point of view, the most highly regulated industry in the world, bar none.
Yeah, right.
So making sure that we follow through on our obligations from a compliance point of view and so on and so forth. Fraud's going through the roof these days, so we're going to make sure we've got checks and balances in place there so that if people are trying to come in and act as if there's someone else to try and steal some money, that we've got, we are a bank, basically.
Totally.
We are a bank, and we market ourselves in that way to our clients. So I see my job, I mean, you've got to get, from my point of view, I have to make sure that I don't get myself caught up working in the business.
Yeah.
So that's where you need to delegate and push things away and trust the people that you've got in place.
100%.
And then I need to spend my time looking for how I can make this business better.
Yeah.
How I can introduce efficiencies into this business. But I have learnt so much this year around innovation and technology. Artificial intelligence. You wouldn't believe how that's coming fast into financial services. You wouldn't believe it. And I'm not talking about robots doing our job, but if you log into your portfolio at 12 o'clock at night, I'm not there. But you might be a bloody doctor, a lawyer, or just an entrepreneur, and you've got shit going on. And that's when you want to go and look at your all right, well, I've got a basic question, and I know the answer's buried in here somewhere. But imagine if I could just get a bit of a chatbot opened up and start asking a question like, what was that transaction? What was that amount of money got paid in, on the 26th of September? Oh, hello, Mr. Ahern.
Yes.
That transaction related to.
Yes.
It's not anything more than that. But at the end of the day, if we can't, if what we are doing isn't directly benefiting the client, then so whether it's me or someone else, you just want the information, I shouldn't be doing it. I need to be doing the things that you value from me. Totally. But if you can get the information from a robot,
software,
software.
Hey, Huey, do you know, just on that quickly, so we just ran a Facebook ad for a program we've got for gym owners. That's through my entrepreneur account that I was talking about, and we just ran a Facebook ad, an ad also through Adventure Fit Travel that was about our Iceland trip. And how it worked is, it was a Facebook post, then it was a promoted post to the places we wanted, people to see it, and it was comment Aurora in the comments below if you want information about our trip. It was all fancy photo, all the copy, whatever. Then what happens? A bot writes to them and says, hey, 3-second pause. So it's a natural pause. It's got the little bit of typing in the Facebook message. Then it says, hey, Huey, or Andrew, will be Andrew because it's first name. Hey, Andrew, how are you? Do you mind if we ask you a few questions? Type yes to start. They'll type yes. And then it's, hey, awesome. What made you want to come on the Iceland trip? You got a list of 3 things that you can choose. Boom. Oh, the Aurora. Yeah. The Aurora's amazing. A life-changing experience. Can we book in a time to chat? Yes, no. Yes goes to my calendar. No goes to, can we get your email and information for future? And this is all automated. All automated. And this is the future. Just on my end, the future of marketing because Facebook are very smart. Facebook are actually using bots, and I'll get back to you to your thing. But Facebook are obviously so smart, so much financial power behind them. So they're trying to build Messenger into like no one's going to be marketing via email anymore. They're going to be using these bots because you get these people as well. Once they start with you, they're a subscriber to your Facebook. So you can email them at any time, whatever. They can opt out like a normal email. But that's on my end, like the AI stuff and the future of marketing is a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it is going to be automated. And I think with what you were saying, like we have to be able to keep up. Yeah. Because if we don't, then people pass us by. And then, it's harder for us to make a living and make the impact. Like me and Tommy were talking about, the whole thing is you're trying to make a good life for yourself and make an impact on the world. Yeah. And if you can't keep up with it, then it's going to pass us by.
100%. And I'll give you another cracking example. And I don't know whether you want to put this under show notes or something. I can give you the link. I can't remember it right now. But IBM, their AI technology, essentially their robot is called Watson. Yeah. IBM Watson. And there's a website that you can jump on sort of in the back of their own, right? And if you take 200 words that somebody has written and put it into the field and hit enter, it will give you a full personality profile of that person. Now, to give you an example, I took my LinkedIn profile, which I wrote, which was like 156 words. Now, I needed a bit extra, so then I wrote one personal paragraph at the bottom about what my passions are in life. Yeah, and I hit enter, and then I got my EA to walk in, and I said, "Hey, Claire, I'm going to read something out to you. Tell me if it sounds like me." Yeah, I read it out to her, and she just sort of looked at me, and she's like, "Well, you obviously wrote that." No shit. And I said, I actually think this is better. Yeah. Describes me better than I could have myself. Yeah. Said. I could have described myself. I said, that was derived from a computer. So it's not just financial services. Yeah. Any kind of relationship business where you're trying to sell something to somebody, if you can take 200 words from their Twitter accounts, their Facebook profiles. I mean, getting 200 words that someone's written these days is piss easy.
I can oath it is, mate.
You put that in there, and it will say, I don't know, this person shies away from confrontation. This person shows a fear of, this, that, and the other.
Fuck, it goes that deep.
Yeah. And you can then formulate your sales pitch or your sales or your discussion about don't mention this or hit this bit. They value friendships. Yes. They value this. Hell, well, I'm going to hone in on that. Yeah. That's actually free. Yeah. You know where to get that. And they sell a whole suite of software which is tailored towards finance. Like for example, Tom is a massive client of mine. And I want to impress the hell out of him whenever he rings me. Mm-hmm. And I know that he is a massive AFL.
Yep, Hawthorn.
He's a massive Hawthorn fan. I just happen to hate AFL. Mm-hmm. I love AFL. But let's say I hate it. Yeah. I can put that in their system that says... Tom's an AFL a Hawthorn supporter. So when you ring, I hit a button, brings up your profile. Yeah. It says, Hawthorn have won 15 premierships. Luke Hodge recently retired this year. And I could go, hey, Tom, bad luck, mate. It's so sad about Lukey Hodge. And all of a sudden, we're connecting.
Yeah. And I'm like, Huey, you've been on that fucking robot again, mate.
But, that's just scratch. I think the other most...
It's all funny that it all revolves around marketing.
Yeah, that's right.
Marketing and selling
everything,
stuff.
Selling shit.
It all starts from selling stuff.
Oh, totally.
I mean, yes and no. Like,
come on, Bill, you fucked it, mate.
Well, I can only think. I think I mentioned this last time, but for the younger demographic of those out there, unfortunately, it's not available in Australia yet. But there's definitely going to be. There's definitely going to be different options. But there's an app in the US called Penny, and you can link Penny to your bank accounts. Mm-hmm. And it will pick up that you've got a Foxtel account, you've got a Netflix account, that you use Uber a lot, and she will tell you. You go into the app and go, "Hey Doc, Did you realise you spent $63 on Uber last month? That equates to an average ride of $23. Did you know that your credit card bill is due next Tuesday? Your Netflix account, it searches the web, so it can say, just be aware that your Netflix subscription is due next month and it will be rising by $3. You might want to consider that.
Yeah.
Like... Dude, seriously.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like that, because all that information's there.
Oh, it's totally out there. We upload everything.
You go into your bank account, let's export an Excel spreadsheet in a CSV file, and then you can do all that sort of stuff. You can pull that information. How about, I want to go surfing, mate.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
give that to me.
Siri can tell me, like you said.
It's out of control.
So there's this fucking episode of Black Mirror. Do you guys watch Black Mirror on
I've
Netflix?
seen a couple of episodes.
You guys would absolutely froth it. Okay, so the whole TV show is based around sort of like this bleak dystopia, this bleak dystopian future that could very well be us in about 10 to 15 years. It's the settings of like 10 to 15 years away from us, okay? And every single episode is just so beautifully creative of every little thing, current trend that we're seeing in the world today and what that could be like in 10 to 15 years. So what you're just saying then, there was this episode about this lady who lost her husband in a car crash. And there's this software out there that just helps with the grieving process, okay? So what it does is it's just this bot that takes in all the information he's ever uploaded. So your social medias, your Twitter, you get a feeling of how he talks, you get his voice recognition based on tapes and everything, okay? And then it builds up a computerized version of the person. So you're literally talking to, have you seen the movie Her? With Joaquin Phoenix.
Just thinking of her.
Just that.
Yeah.
So you're talking to...
Falls in love with his computer.
You're talking to your husband.
Yeah.
So
Which will happen also.
It's literally Siri, but
Seen
like...
Ex Machina?
Huh?
Seen Ex Machina?
No.
It's like Her, but the chick's got a body and she's hot.
Oh, who is it? Scarlett Johansson?
Nah, just some random hot chick.
Well, it's the same thing as
The only thing I
Transcendence.
can add to this conversation is I watched Ballers the other night. And you know Joe, and he puts on the goggles.
No,
you know
it.
the Rock's business partner.
Yeah,
he puts
yeah.
on the VR goggles.
Yeah.
And he's basically shagging a chick on his couch, but she doesn't exist.
Totally.
That's all I've got to add to this.
Very valid. I like it.
Moving on. So it's basically she's talking to her husband that died, and it's literally him. And then it sort of went a little bit Hollywood and moved into sort of what are those things that morphing technology? Is it going to come to me? Is it going to come to me? No, it won't. It'd be like they have a body and they build up him, and they just attach that bot onto it and it becomes her.
That sort of stuff freaks me out.
Yeah, but
That sort of
it's
stuff
closer than you think.
100%.
I know it's close to
think.
I think by the time it really takes off, I'll be dead, and I'll be happy about that.
Yeah, I'll be happy you're dead. Yeah. Well, you could probably come back on social media,
You
mate.
just made me think that we could do like a whole episode just on Netflix.
Yeah.
Have you guys
Favourite
seen
shows?
Icarus?
I need to see
Yes.
that. You were telling me about this.
Far out.
You were telling me,
Icarus.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Really
about
good?
Those Russians, mate.
the Russian drug
Those
scandal.
Russians.
Have you seen it?
No. I really want
Honestly,
to see it.
it starts off as this amateur cyclist in the US, and I think he's a film producer, so he's like, right, well, he goes and does the toughest amateur race in the world, which is like the 7 hardest stages of the Tour de France, all one after the other. First year he comes 14th, and the top 10 cyclists, basically, they could be pros.
Yeah.
They're so much better than everyone else.
Yeah.
He decides he's going to go on a doping program.
Okay.
And I don't want to give too much of it away, but you think that the whole thing's going to be about him and his doping program.
Yeah.
It stops that stops at the guy that
Which
he
it was
engages.
supposed to be. Which it was supposed to be
Correct.
originally.
And the guy that he engages to help him started off as like the American who was like an American who was one of the heads of the US anti-doping agency.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, this is getting a little bit tricky for me. I'm going to refer you to the head of the anti-doping agency in Russia.
Yeah.
He's a gangster. He does what he wants.
Legend.
And all I'm going to say is, if for any listeners out there who remember like what happened in Sochi, and then the fact that they were going to ban the entire Russian Olympic team out of Rio, he winds up in all that shit.
And there's some
And
serious
it has
allegations.
nothing to do with his amateur cycling ambitions in the end. Like, he is basically harbouring a criminal. It's crazy.
It's not serious allegations. It's serious life-threatening position. It's not fucking around. Like the documentary puts a lot of people's lives in risk asking the questions that they ask.
And one guy he has a heart attack. And disappears. But just on that, and I know for a lot of people haven't seen it, just go and see it.
Yeah.
how the hell is Vladimir Putin still has a seat at the table with all the other world leaders?
Isn't it insane?
You know why it is?
Isn't
because it's like
he's a bully, mate.
But the thing is, I don't know. We're getting politics now, but
Fuck it, let's go again. We had another one today.
The thing is that, like, Donald Trump and the other, like, whether it's the G8 or the G20, the other world leaders, they only ever pick fights with people who they know they can beat.
Yeah.
That's just a reality. Like, they'll go, well, yeah, okay, well, what's going on in the Middle East? That's wrong. What's going on in North Korea? That's wrong. And no one disputes that. But what the hell's going on in Russia? And it's like,
We don't know, man. We don't know.
Hang on. Their missiles, their scouts might be bigger than ours. So we'll just leave them
we don't want to
alone.
fuck with the guy that's named Vlad. Yeah, the only Vlads we know have been the Impaler and the Putin.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it interesting that Putin, like Putin in French, means fuck? Just putting it out there, lads. Anyway, moving on.
Good point.
Good. That is interesting.
Good chat.
But he's a black belt. He could fuck them all up.
Yeah,
That's probably what he knows. He's like, this comes to a fucking fist fight between me and you. Like, I've got you in a submission.
They say he was leader of the KGB or something, wasn't he? Isn't there a rumor that he was like head of the KGB at some point?
He would control the KGB one way or another. They're in Icarus. KGB, they're in Icarus.
Oh, yeah.
Putin reminds me of the guy out of Rambo 3.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. They're in the desert and he winds up fighting against a Russian with no top on. And if you like the last every time Putin's like the only place he goes on holiday is Siberia.
Yeah.
Seriously. Anyway, and he's sitting there with his army pants on with no shirt on, just chilling. I can still fuck you up.
I've got this. Yeah.
Oh man.
Isn't it insane?
What about so did you watch the Connor fight? Huey, you were saying you want to do did you watch it all go down? Who were you back and what was going on?
Oh dear. We're opening up a can of worms here.
What do you mean? Did you had it at your gym, didn't you?
Connor McGregor is my boy. I have an absolute obsession with that man.
Best man at my wedding.
How many times did you listen to that There's Only One Connor McGregor song before the fight?
I openly admitted to a lot of my mates that in the week leading up to that fight, I didn't sleep more than a few hours a night because I went to sleep every night singing that there's only one Connor McGregor in my head.
I listened to it 100 times already. I had it on repeat on Spotify.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Joe'd go to bed and we'd finish watching like Ballers or something, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to go and read." I'm like, "Yeah,
sick."
I'm just going to flick YouTube for a sec, and all of a sudden it's just like one after the other. But yeah, no, we went to a buddy's house, and I mean, it's just the craziest event that you could come across.
Biggest sporting event of all time.
I mean, everyone has their own interest, and I get that. And some people would look at it and go, "Well, let's see what the big deal is." But I mean. Man, the reason I love it, apart from being like a lethal weapon, right? And I love it how a lot of people look at Conor McGregor and think he's an Irish loudmouth that he's got to be put in his place. It's like if you go behind the scenes on that dude, like look at his his first Instagram post after the fight. He is a student of the game. He is obsessed with improvement and perfection. And I mean, I love the theatre of it all. It's the lead up is entertainment. His fuck you suit is entertainment. that white Gucci coat, that is entertainment.
But not from his perspective. His perspective is that is an idea for me to get into.
That's business.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why
but
I love him.
It's a marketing ploy.
If you're not smart enough,
you were going to say into their heads, though, weren't you?
A what?
Were you going to say get into their heads with that stuff? That's. I knew exactly what you were about to say, and then you went with what Huey went.
Sorry,
tactical move.
Yeah, trying to get in their heads.
It's both.
Yeah,
but I would say, and I agree wholeheartedly. But I would say, the guy knows how to sell a fight.
Oh yeah,
like
no shit.
He doesn't. He doesn't. He said he was all dressed up. He had a suit ready to go in New York, and he was doing some shopping beforehand. And he's like, it's full Mike Tyson like. He's going down like Fifth Avenue without a shirt on with his bodyguard. He's like, and then he goes
what about those stupid fucking shades he started wearing?
And he's like, I'm not even going to try to do his Irish voice, but like, shit, fuck, let's do this.
Yes.
Let's just wear this mink coat.
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing that to put Floyd off. He's doing that because he's giving the people what they want. When he's talking trash,
Yes.
that's getting in there. That's getting in their head. And Floyd's too smart for that. Like, he didn't buy into it, but every other joker has. But I just love I love that he said, I'm a businessman. But when the sun goes down, no one, you don't like. He works harder than anybody else. So there's a lot to be admired from
100%.
that.
And have you ever listened to him? Like, he did a bunch of interviews. I mean, he did 50,000 interviews before and after the show, the fight. But have you ever listened to the ones like the ones he did with Ariel Helwani?
I love him.
He sat down with Ariel, and it was 20 minutes, and it was him and Ariel just shooting the shit, having a chat, and he wasn't selling the fight. There was no crowd around. There was no one to hype him up. He was talking about his family. He was talking about his training, where he'd come from, his plans, and his team. Like, he's so passionate and down to earth when you actually hear him talk.
Yeah.
Everybody sees the bravado and the fucking tearing Jose Aldo's fucking picture and the fuck you code.
You'll do nothing.
Yeah, all that stuff.
You do nothing.
You do nothing.
You do nothing. So what is you do nothing?
Who the fuck is this guy?
That was but I mean,
He's fucking great, man.
Since he's had his kid, Connor Jr.
Yeah. Legend.
Like, he is obsessed with that kid.
Yeah.
And he walks into the O2 Arena with pushing, like, with his missus who's pushing the pram. But if it was all about him, he'd be like, all right, guys, you get out of the way. I'm gonna do the Vince McMahon sort of strut in here. But he comes in with his boy.
Yeah. His mum and his dad, every time he wins a fight, join him and his sister, like, join him in the ring.
Scotch.
Yeah, but they can't. Remember,
in the ring,
every time he wins, his mum and dad are in there with him, and they're always fucking talking about how proud they are.
Yeah.
And mate, I'm not going to pretend to be a boxing. I'm not going to pretend to be. I'm not going to pretend to be a boxing expert. But I learned a lot throughout that whole fight and through that process, and listening to all the experts talk about it. I mean, at the end of the day, the guy landed more punches than Canelo. He landed more punches than Pacquiao.
Yeah.
And
in 2 less rounds.
regardless of the fact that Mayweather fought a different fight, he forced Mayweather in the early rounds to fight that fight.
Yeah, that's right.
He forced him to, because he was coming forward, throwing jabs, and Mayweather had to try and figure it out. It was such an unorthodox style. I mean, I sat there, like, I don't know about you guys, like, I was just so nervous. I just sat there for the first 3 rounds. I'm like, holy shit, he's
I
actually...
was in a fucking Irish pub, mate. with my Irish mate. I went with my mate Damo Hennigan. You know Damo Hennigan?
Yeah,
we went with Damo. So met Damo
CrossFit
there.
Westgate.
Yeah, Damo had 5 tables of Irish mates there, all booked out of Damo Hennigan. I went with Mac and his missus, and we went there, and it was fucking unbelievable. The environment was so good. I was getting so excited. It was great to watch. But I agree.
Those later rounds were scary. I was like, fuck, how is he just going to hold
that?
on? Those later rounds were scary.
I was like you listen to some of the guys talk, like Brendan Schwab.
Yeah.
I listened to him
Big
and Joe
Bren.
Rogan just break it down. And Schwab's like, I had to do some stuff for Showtime. Was doing, commentating. He goes, I left it after the 7th round because we all knew.
Oh, of course.
We all knew it was like,
he's just holding on.
downhill.
But the fact that he did what he did, the fact that he won 3 rounds against on the scorecards he did. 1 scorecard he did, 2 scorecards gave him 1 round.
1 round, which is
that. But that's just biased boxing sticking up to their boy. But he won 3 rounds against the greatest of all time fucking boxer.
And arguably won the 8th round as well.
Yeah, that's right.
But the thing is that people don't comprehend it. But I mean, he made that fight happen.
Yeah, that's right.
He talked it up so much. And I will, again, my obsession with YouTube. There was like 15 things that Connor does not want you to know.
Yeah.
And one of them was that his sister gave him the book The Secret a long time ago. And he's been a massive convert of that, which is basically an intense self-belief and essentially visualization that if you believe and want something and visualize it hard enough, it will happen.
Absolutely, it will.
Mate, he does that over and over and over again. That guy just walked, 29 years of age, that guy just walked away with $100 million.
Yeah, totally.
So like all these other boxers and other jealous UFC, Nate Diaz, Floyd let him win. He didn't even blow. I was like, sorry, where's your 100?
Yeah, totally. Who cares?
Talk about visualization. The Jose Aldo fight. Before the fight, Connor's doing the exact. He's coming in. He's going to come in like this. I'm going to clip him with the left.
I've seen that.
He plans.
Literally fucking
he
happened.
says exactly what he's going to do.
Literally.
And goes out, executes, and knocks him out in one punch. That's why I put money on Connor. I don't bet, but I put money on Connor just for fun. And I thought, you know what? If there's ever somebody who's going to beat Floyd Mayweather,
it's going to be Connor.
Not only because he's very skilled and so forth or whatever, but because he has a whole fucking country behind him. He has more self-confidence than anyone that's ever stepped foot in the fucking ring. And it's just a story. You know? Stories like that happen. Stories like, I don't know boxing either, but stories like Canelo, Manny Pacquiao's a little bit, but those stories don't really happen as often because there's not such a fucking energetic build-up. That shit's kind of a little bit real. It's a little bit airy-fairy, but if anyone was ever going to do it, it was going to be Connor.
However,
can I? The one thing that I would say about him, and Floyd, and the fact that the way that Connor got, I said before, he didn't get into Floyd's head, but in some respects he did because he made Floyd choose a particular style to fight on that day, which is different to the style he would implement against, say, Pacquiao. For Pacquiao, he ran the whole fight and got away with it. Whereas this one, he kind of put Floyd into a situation where Floyd had to come out and say, "I'm going to knock him out. This fight won't go the distance. Everyone's disappointed with the Pacquiao fight. I've got to give them a show." And he drew him into that.
Yep.
Floyd would have been the most hated sportsman in the world if he had run away from Connor McGregor.
Oh, yeah.
And, I know a lot of people sort of go, "Oh, well, Connor showed that he can't punch and this, that, and the other. He doesn't have punching power." And from what I can gather, if you're wearing 4-ounce gloves in the UFC, if you've got good timing, he says it, if you've got good timing and precision, you can knock someone out flush on the chin. But in the boxing ring, you probably have to have greater refinement of your shots and how you throw a punch. My point is, in the first round, he tagged Floyd Mayweather with an incredible uppercut. And if he really knew, had years of boxing behind him, if he knew how to throw an uppercut the way boxers do, he could have knocked him out.
Maybe with 4-ounce gloves, he might have knocked him out.
But I'll tell you what's even just, what I like, this is probably like a more personal note because I just love the idea of just putting yourself out there and facing your fears and all this sort of stuff. I mean, he's the most confident dude in the world. Floyd's, is a brilliant, brilliant professional. These guys are still human. And they're still fucking scared. I mean, but Connor especially, he just, to think of going, I'm going to take on the best fucking fighter the boxing game's ever seen, whatever you want to call it that. And I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to let anything get in my way. And he went out there and he made it a massive spectacle. That is, for someone like me, has a bit of a fear of public speaking, a bit of a fear of going out there and busking, I'm like, what the fuck? I've got to do it. It's
and
just
you did it the other night, I believe.
Oh, I did actually do it the other night.
I was proud of you when I heard that.
What's that, busking?
Yeah, went out to the city and did some busking.
Really?
We talked about this last time, and I'm going to continue with my geez, this sounds cliche. Journey of not giving a fuck what other people think.
That's right.
And I was trying to think. I was thinking about this the other day, and I heard it kind of articulated quite well. And I hope I get it right now. But it's not. Of course, you care what other people think, but once, and that's like, are my actions, what do people think of my daily actions?
Yes.
Right. Did they respond to it? Did they not? This, that, and the other. But once you've decided that that's your path, it's the end outcome that you don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, of course.
That's because you have put yourself on that path. You'll take people's feedback along the way, but once you get there, so it's like you're busking. Mm-hmm. If you're playing along on YouTube or to your girlfriend or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, babe, that's not that great."
Yeah.
You're gonna take that feedback. You're gonna go, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, right?
We're done.
I'm still going to go to Flinders Street."
Yeah.
But if everyone along the way is saying, "Hey, that's really good," don't wear that shirt. Maybe wear another one, or don't go for as long. And you're like, "Yeah, I'll take all that." But once you get there, you got to give zero fucks what other people think.
Absolutely,
and that's I think that is the pathway that successful people take.
Yep.
That's a pathway that Connor McGregor takes.
Yep.
He takes feedback from his coaches, his girlfriend.
Yeah, the people that matter.
Lorenzo Fertitta and Dana White. But when he gets in that ring, he doesn't give it. Well, see, like, this is what I mean. When I sort of started to get myself right and with a bit of self-awareness and all this sort of stuff, from a very sort of early age in my adult life, I had a clear goal, and my goal hasn't changed. There's a few things. I want to travel the world. I want to get paid to travel the world and stay active. So that's why I love the idea of Adventure Fit Travel. I want to be able to get paid working online in the Maldives. That's why I've started the MindMate. I love talking about deep mental health discussions. So again, that facilitates that. But I wanted to become like an influencer and and talk, because I really personally believe that I'm really good in front of a crowd, and I love that idea of just making people laugh and just seeing this crowd of people in front of me. It just so happens that I ironically have a fear of it, but that doesn't matter. But ever since I watched Australia's Got Talent, I've wanted to apply for it. And so why the fuck wouldn't I go and bust? Can I ask you a question though on that? And I've had to now do a bit of public speaking, and those that are in the inner sanctum, knowing that I don't mind a speech either.
Yes.
But if you know that you're 100% prepared for what you're about to go and do, does that not give you a little more comfort?
It does. Like so for me, right? So I was a little bit scared about. Well, I was pretty scared about busking, and when I was going into the city and on the train, I was like playing my songs and all that sort of stuff, and I was like, oh shit, I'm a bit worried. And I got out there and I started playing the music, and so the first song I did was Stairway to Heaven, right? And just about before I was starting to sing There's a Lady, I just had this overwhelming sense of just joy and peace. So I was like, fuck, I've been doing this I started playing it in grade 1. I've got this.
Yeah.
You know, it's all well and good. The one thing with public speaking, right, though, is just something that I'm perfectly self-aware of, is the fact that a couple of years back I had an intense panic attack when I was in front of people. So it's this little worry that goes, shit, what if I have it again? But at the end of the day, I mean, there was a couple of things. I mean, I was on a come down from the night before. I'd taken drugs the night before. I hadn't looked at what I was going to talk about. I went into it half-assed.
Yep.
So now that I have this very, very passionate sense of preparation.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a speech on mental health and the MindMate to about 120 people in early November. And when I was going to accept it, I was like, oh God, I'm. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to die in 60 years' time, and I'm going to look back at this and go, why the fuck didn't you do that?
Yeah, and like, I mean, even if you actually, I hate to say this, but even if you actually bombed out,
Totally.
At least at that point, you're starting from ground zero, and you can only get better from there, and you're going to figure out exactly why. And I'm not surprised that you mentioned what you said before about a big night out and then not being half-assed.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I can only speak from my own personal experience, but if I'm fully prepared and I've done my homework, the nerves. There's a bit of nervous energy, but I am not nervous. I'm ready to go because you know your topic, you know your stuff. But
100%.
then that then is how you build as a base. Then you go, well, I got to I can kind of work on this. Like, I got to know when to hit the right notes. When do I pause? When do I then raise my tone, lower it down to draw the audience in, sort of thing. And that's all the bit that can take years to refine. Can take years to refine.
And that's, I mean, I've joined a public speaking group now. So I go to Toastmasters every second and fourth Thursday at the Elston Week one. And that helps tons. Like we practice skills and things. I've only been to one at Elston Week. I've been to 3 at the Hawthorn Club and 1 Hawthorn East. But we do things and we practice like improvisation, where they go, okay, you're going to talk about cows, and you get up there and you're like, all right, here we go. And you just, because it just, I mean, I love the idea of, because I feel like I can really, truly provide a forum to help people in mental health, okay? And not by saying, Huey, I've got the answer to cure your anxiety, but by saying, hey, Huey, mate, I've had the same thing. Let's fucking talk about it. And I feel like if I can do something with question and answers at the end of my talks, where people say, hey, have you ever had this? Like, I'd love to just say exactly what's on my mind and going, mate, I could not agree with you more, and providing that thing. And when I first started the Mind Mate, I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to really do what I preach here and face my fear of public speaking and face my fear of putting all my fears out there on YouTube and stuff. But it has just been the most humbling thing in the world because I'm growing.
Yeah.
I mean, you grow through that adversity.
And liberating.
It is insanely liberating. It's amazing. And it's just great as well to have my own side thing as well as Adventure Fit Radio,
Yeah.
But it's... I can't remember what we were talking about.
Doesn't even matter.
No, it doesn't even matter. Yeah.
Where's the next Adventure Fit travel
Connor
destination?
McGregor, that's what it was.
We're going to Iceland, mate, in November, December. Tommy's on the second trip. I'm on the first trip.
So you two trips?
2 trips, yeah. We sold the first one out in like 3 weeks without any advertising. So we still had, 7 months to spare or whatever. We've got 4 months now or what have you. And we got... I think we got a bunch of tickets left on the second one, but I think we'll sell it out pretty comfortably the second one around.
Do you see the Northern Lights from up there?
Yep.
Yeah, you do. So
Aurora Borealis.
The reason why we're going in like November and December, it's going to be cold as fuck. Obviously, it's the coldest part of Europe, and that's pretty much European winter.
Yeah.
Is because there's a window that you can see the Aurora Borealis, and that's pretty much the winter.
The what Borealis?
The Aurora Borealis.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
What
dog.
part of the body is that on?
Yeah, the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah. It's near the upper vaginals.
In your kitchen right now.
Yeah. I know Aurora. He's a good dude. Hey, Kaz at the gym.
Yeah, there's like a window where you have 6 month period to really see the lights, and kind of as that there's a peak. The peak is the middle of the winter, but there's fuck all sunlight. It's cold and miserable as shit. So we're going on like shoulder season where there's pretty decent chance of the aurora, but still enough light to stay out past 2 p.m.
Yeah,
and yeah, so that's in November and December. That's our next trip. So.
Yeah, amazing. My lovely wife. That's the Northern Lights at the top of her bucket list. I'll have to get her there one day.
100%.
definitely.
Have you guys ever been to like up there, sort of like Scandinavia or whatever during summer?
No.
When the sun actually doesn't go down.
I've been to Copenhagen, but I don't know if it's like that in Copenhagen.
Yeah, 100%.
I've been there in
What?
August.
It just doesn't go down.
I think
In the middle of summer, all I can say is we went into Stockholm, and we were living in the UK, and we did a red eye midnight flight. And as we were landing at 3 a.m, the sun was coming up, so we went straight out.
It is mental because they have like Iceland, especially has like 3 hours of sunlight in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
So on the other way around, it's the
Isn't that
opposite.
insane?
Opposite.
Yeah, but I don't think Copenhagen gets it as much to the same degree. But so no, I've never actually seen the never-ending sunlight. But imagine how bad that is for you, for your mental state. The never-ending
Shocking.
Suicide rates in Scandinavia are up there with the worst in the world.
when it's in winter.
Oh,
Hey?
right.
So
Suicide rates
it's
are like
both.
this. In summer, they're like, I'm not killing myself. This
I was
is
going to go
grand.
nab myself.
Yeah, but imagine if you wanted to get some sleep. Imagine if you had you were sleep apnea or whatever, whatever it is, insomniac.
Yeah.
And the sun never went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think.
Did you have a good sleep, mate? You're kidding. You genuine?
Yeah, about 6 months ago, I had a great night.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's gold.
No, it is pretty fucked up.
Well, so Huey, we're talking about that. I really have been meaning to read the book, The Secret, and I'm doing a lot of that visualization work with my upcoming speech and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What do you visualize about in your next 5-10 years? Like, where do you want to be in your life with your vlogs? Like with anything, What just gets you fucking pumped?
Oh man, I mean that's such a good question. I mean, I have never read that book, so I'll put that out there now.
Yeah.
And I'm not a massive. I think visualization would be incredible. I don't really do a lot of visualization, but I do a lot of goal setting. And I mean, with one on the way, there's a lot of unknowns out there for me right now.
Yeah.
So, look, at the end of the day, being a financial advisor, running a financial planning business, a lot of my goals are sort of financially orientated.
Yeah, that's cool.
But, I want to get to a point, I definitely want to get to a point where I'm not necessarily bound to your corporate structure, which is, 4 weeks off every year and this, that and the other. I think... and what I would say, and I don't put a time limit on it, but I've been doing what I do now for almost 20 years. 15 years, I think, I've been at Hewison Private Wealth this year, and before that I was managing a surf shop. So in another 10 years' time, I'll be sort of hitting my mid to late 40s. I've always said that I think there's so much in life to experience. And you talk about fears, right? So fears / comfort zone, same kind of thing.
Totally.
I hate being comfortable.
Yep.
I just hate it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, I've got this vlog going right at the moment, which is, got 20 subscribers, and I get like 30 views per vlog or whatever. But at the end of the day, that for me is all about getting myself out of my comfort zone and trying something completely different. I love that creative aspect to it. My father is a very, very talented sort of drawer or artist, and always has been.
Well,
I can't hardly draw a stick figure, but that is a bit of a creative outlet for me as well, and that gets me out of my comfort zone.
Creative streak in your blood.
Basically. I do.
Through your
exactly
old man,
right.
probably.
I'm more visual as opposed to artistic writing. With using my hands and whatnot. When it comes to pencils and paintbrushes, Tommy.
Yeah, you caught me. I was going to make a sex joke.
I just want to see myself. I look to, broadly speaking, I want to see myself getting out of my comfort zone. So the point of all that was saying, I don't want to retire. At whatever time that might be, and say, I only did the one thing my entire life. Maybe I go and do in a similar industry, but I branch off and do marketing in Hewison Private Wealth or whatever. But I want to be able to be in a position where I could potentially take 3 months off a year and travel with my family, go and spend 3 months in Bali, and maybe I can still run a business, run a portion of the business out of there, but not have to be in the office. But constantly getting out of my comfort zone is kind of what I get off on.
Bill, do you have any sort of I mean, like I speak to you every day. I spend multiple times a week with you. But like, what do you? We talk about the mind, mate. We talk about adventure travel and all the time. But like, what do you really just? I mean, because whether or not you visualize and you practice visualization, when you're in the shower or when you're fucking on the can or something, like you get these thoughts, as we all humans do, and you get like, fuck, wouldn't that be good? Like, I feel like I can do that, that would just be amazing for me, and I don't know, I honestly don't know what that is for you.
Yeah, that's a good question, and not a question I've been asked a whole lot. And when I made my Bill Kerr entrepreneur page the other day, I had to come up with like a little bit of an about. What am I about? I don't have a biography.
Because you're not just adventure fit travel.
No, so I mean, and this is. I took a little bit of time to think about one sentence of like who I am and what I'm about, because I started this fucking page, and I wrote, I'm just a guy trying to improve the world through travel, exercise, mindfulness, and conversation. So on a career level, that's what I want to do. I want to have. I want VentureFit to be the biggest company in the world, or the coolest company in the world. It's never going to be the biggest company in the world, but as big as I can get it to, but to be the coolest company in the world. That's what I've always said. I've always said the coolest fucking company that there is out there. And obviously, at the moment, it's AdventureFit Travel, and then we have radio as a sub-branch of AdventureFit Travel. So I got a meeting on Monday and one on Thursday with digital branding experts or whatever to talk about when we go to AdventureFit, or the AdventureFit, or whatever, however we rebrand it, but AdventureFit is the umbrella.
So like Red Bull.
Yeah, with travel as one arm of it, media or radio and TV, but media, and then with events, and that's keynote speaking events. So that's my plan.
Investment, financial.
Yeah. Huey wants to come on as
He was a private wealth.
I'll come on as a financial consultant, financial coach.
But
he was a private wealth.
I figured out a while ago that the thing that makes me the happiest is making other people happy, and obviously I want to create a good life for myself. I want to have a very comfortable living, a nice fucking house, a family. I want to be able to provide well for them, and I want to be able to show them the world and raise them really well. That's very important to me. But I mean, more important to me is I get a kick out of making people happy. I don't know whether I was talking to you, or I was talking to someone in the office here, or whatever, but I was talking about the fact that initially with AdventureFit, I didn't really enjoy the trips, and the thing that I had to fall back on was I was making other people happy. This is what I'm making a real positive impact, and think of them. When I was so stressed and I wasn't enjoying it myself. So Yeah, I mean, that's. I just want to create as much positive impact as I can with Adventure Fit. And if I do that and I do it well, then I'm going to provide pretty well for myself as well, which, it goes hand in hand. And then personally, I'm very much like Huey, where I would love, and I'm already in this position now. I'm not in the 9 to 5 position, like Huey. I'm not nowhere near as financially successful as Huey. I've been doing what I've been doing for we're not positioned anywhere near where you guys are and, what you're doing. But, I mean, now, only over the last little while, the last few months, like the Thailand trip we did was the first time I ever did any of my own travel after a trip. So now I'm in the position where I'm going to... Oh, fuck, I can't say this.
You can't say that yet.
I got I can't actually say you. I'll tell you after, but I'm going on a trip. And fuck, I'm going to give it away here. Anyway, so I've got a work trip planned, and I'm going to do a little bit of travel after that in a couple of weeks. And then that's to Vietnam, and I want to be able to build my own travel. Eventually, I'd like to do what Hugh was talking about, where I escape the winters and go and live in Bali, go and surf in Bali for 3 months, go and dive in Thailand. I reckon for me that'll be sooner rather than later. If I get a missus in the next couple of years, I'd be sick if we could do that, if we could figure out some sort of a system, because I already work from... This right here is my office, obviously. I've got a laptop and a notepad, that's it. I don't have any paper in Adventure Fit anywhere, and everything still runs smoothly. Totally. As fucking crazy that sounds to, businesses that are entrenched in the old way.
I was talking about it today.
Yeah.
Like, if we just set a rule from, 1st of October and say, there's no printers in this office anymore.
Yeah.
Because we actually have everything set up so you don't actually need to print.
No.
I've got an iPad, and I use OneNote on my iPad with a stylus pen. Best thing you'll ever do in your life, and it writes. You can write exactly as you would on a piece of paper.
Well, I was talking to Rachel, our in-house travel agent that we've it's just come on board, and she was talking about being in the office and someone having a very messy desk and can never find through the papers on his desk. And I literally looked at her,
that is bizarre,
shocked, and I was like, paper on the desk.
People still do that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's funny because we don't have the systems that that are entrenched for. That's a 40-year-old business, in the travel industry, and I'm Adventure Fit's a 3-year-old business, and I grew up in the digital age to a degree as an entrepreneur anyway. Yeah. So it's just what I know, and they don't know any different to what they know. But to get back to that's all. It was a pretty long-winded answer, but I want to make Adventure Fit a fucking huge positive impact on the world. I want it to be the coolest, as big as I can get it, be the coolest fucking company on the planet. What I look at in that regard is I look at Lonely Planet, I look at Red Bull, and I look at Intrepid Travel.
Yeah. I've
always said that I wanted Adventure Fit to be a mixture of Intrepid Travel and Lonely Planet. So media and a travel company, And then Red Bull is also like a company that I aspire to be like, So
when I was running the Brave clothing company we talked about last time, Red Bull was always our aspirational company.
Really? Yeah. Do you know what I find really interesting as well in talking about this sort of stuff is you guys have both sort of alluded to, so your visualization and your goal setting, whatever you want to call it, you've given some sort of allusion towards who you are as people, where it's kind of this is where I want to be, but a lot of that is to do with who you are as people. And for me, sort of coming to terms with who I am and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I used to get really embarrassed and ashamed of genuinely who I was, and I was like, fuck, why did I say that? I'm such an idiot. I always say politically incorrect things. I'm just I just couldn't stop it, and people would kind of give me these weird looks, and I'd be like, I don't know why I even say these things, but in coming to terms with that, I mean, I don't get paid to do this yet. We don't get paid to do this, but it would. A lot of my life is centered around using that as a strength to make people laugh by being a stupid, horrendous goofball. And I think it's just, I don't know, I really feel like what you guys have said and all that sort of stuff is just very much your goals and your visualization and all that sort of stuff is very much entrenched with the people who you just genuinely are.
Hey, you know how you hear a lot of people say, surround yourself with other people who you aspire to be like. Mm-hmm. And other people who are positive influences. So
totally,
I don't suffer fools lightly these days. No. I don't have time for it.
No way.
Because there's so many people out there who are on the same page as you, and I'm not saying we're all going to wind up being Richard Branson.
No.
But you got to put yourself out there, Bill. You've got that aspiration for your company. And some people would listen to that and go, mate, you're an idiot. Why would you even think that? What, you're never going to get there. And, obviously, you don't need to reference other people, but people have already paved that way.
Yeah.
Like you read enough of Richard Branson's books.
I just read Richard Branson's book. And I finished it a couple of days ago.
And so many people shot him down, and he was on the verge of bankruptcy that many times it wasn't funny. And he just remained like cold, almost, he wouldn't admit it this way, but like have a cold-blooded focus on what he wanted to be. And he was willing to put it all on the line. And a lot of times it doesn't pay off, but sometimes a lot of, people can get through the cracks, and they're the ones that wind up on a much higher level than everybody else. But if you don't set yourself out on that path and surround yourself with the people, don't listen to the quote-unquote haters, as they say these days. Like, I got a WhatsApp group with my mates, and some of them are, same age, so 37 to 40, 41.
Yep.
And a lot of them, like, no disrespect to them, but a lot of them miss the digital age. They don't necessarily have Instagram accounts. YouTube, a vlog, what the hell's that? And I, obviously running my vlog at the moment, and we got into a bit of banter. Yeah. And I didn't get I don't try not to get personal with anyone, sort of thing, but just a bit of banter. And the first thing they brought up was my vlog.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. First thing, is that a vlog or a flog? and one of them even went to the effort of going onto his Facebook page and screenshotting the YouTube clip that I shared, and it showed under it that the only person that liked it was my wife. And he put a screenshot in, and he goes, oh, maybe Huey, maybe that's telling you something.
No shit.
And it was supposed to be a joke, but he's just gone directly for the jugular. Little does he know that Facebook is not owned by YouTube. YouTube doesn't own Facebook. Therefore, Facebook actually doesn't give any exposure to YouTube videos.
The algorithm's literally set that way.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't choose to go with that.
Yeah.
I just said, mate, the last time you stepped out of your comfort zone was when you chopped off your ponytail in high school. And there was crickets after that.
There was
so it's like, I don't care what you think, because you're living your life a long way away from me, and if you're happy, that's great.
Yeah.
But I don't think you've ever been overseas, mate.
Yeah.
So
and
I don't think he's even happy, man.
The exact same thing happened to me, Huey. I put up my Bill Kerr entrepreneur page, and
that's a flog thing to do. That's fucking ridiculous.
And then straight away, and then I downloaded this Chrome extension, which is just like one hit invite all friends to.
That's the best extension.
Yeah. So anyway, people started liking my page, whatever, and I got this fight thread with the boys as well.
Yeah.
Frey's one of them, like my best mate for since day one. And probably 6 of my close mates. And then Rich wrote on the page, he goes, or it might have been even Frey, but I think it was Rich. Rich wrote on the page, screenshot, and then goes, so you're a fucking celebrity now. And I wrote, yeah, I'm a businessman, not a businessman, or something like that. Or something.
Oh no, the Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I'm not a businessman, I'm a business, man.
Yeah, that's what I said. And then Frey wrote to me going, what the fuck seriously, what the fuck is this, right? Like asking a heated kind of, but what the fuck is this all about anyway? Why would you want it? Why do you need a fucking entrepreneur? And I wrote to him, I said, well, boys, it's because there's a fucking way better response writing to people when you're writing B2B for Facebook ads, and you can't I said, also, I'm the face of my company, and my company needs a face, and also I don't give a fuck. Yeah. This is going to help me.
I
said, I'll explain this to you boys, because you've asked the question. I know there's many other people thinking the same thing, and I couldn't give fucking 3 fucks what they think, but I can help more people and make my life better by having this page. So fucking whatever.
Yep.
Totally. You're always going to,
So Tim Ferriss,
and then there was a slight pause, and he's like, "What's B2B?"
Yeah. What's entrepreneurial mean?
But anytime, as soon as we started this podcast, we're always going to get some sort of fucking hate.
Yeah.
Some people, as long as if you're putting, it's like a fucking kind of like a jealousy thing, or like a wish I fucking, and that's cool. That's human nature,
but it's
and that's
also
fine.
but
that is 100%, and 100, that is 1,000%. It is very Australian.
To just don't get ahead of yourself, mate. Just be one with the boys. It's like fuck that. I want to do what I want to do. Like the first time I ever said to one of my mates, like, mate, I'm going to start doing a podcast, and he goes, oh, okay. So you're going to start teaching you're going to be Joe Rogan, are you? And I was like, yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Fuck, I totally am.
Because someone said that to Joe Rogan when he started too, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. But people,
he actually was going to wind up And I, in some respects, on the last podcast when I did my like three people dead or alive, I probably should have got rid of Warren Buffett and brought in Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
He is one of the most underestimated characters in the world today.
He's my hero.
Oh, good, man.
He's actually my hero.
I used to listen to Tim Ferriss. Used to put him on a bit of a pedestal.
Yeah.
I don't even rate that guy now. It annoys me when I listen to him. I'm like, it's all about Joe Rogan.
But Joe Rogan is also so motivational as well. But back
and
on that, Tim
open-minded
Ferriss,
and such a good friend and family man. Like, everything that he thinks about life, every outlook that he has, I go, I'm fucking bang on to that.
And he is a savage.
He
is a black belt BJJ.
Yeah, exactly.
He can end people.
A black belt fucking anything.
Exactly.
Tim Ferriss, some of his quotes are just so good. Like you said, his quote, his addition to "you are the sum total of the 5 most influential people around you." He says, "So do not underestimate the negative, depressed people telling you not to do something." And then on that, he also says, most people are quick to stop you before you start, but will normally shut up once you're on the move. And it's just like...
Yeah, that's right. They jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, they totally do. Oh, yeah, I was with him from day one. I knew Adventure Fit was always going to take off. It's like, mate, do you want to have a look at the history of this Facebook messaging?
I'm being harsh on him. It's just when you compare the two and you listen to the two and the way that they can interview the same people. Yeah. Joe Rogan just tends to engage. But in saying that, in complete fairness, Rogan's podcasts go for 3 hours, as ours have.
He's got time.
but Ferriss is like, nah, I've got an hour and a half, so I'm not going to really engage.
Yeah.
I'll ask you a question, you give me an answer, and then I'm going to move on. Whereas Rogan will like pull something apart until there's nothing left. That carcass is dead. Like, let's move on to something else.
Rogan, do you know what I love about Rogan, right? Is like something that I really try to sort of live up to when I'm podcasting is he becomes their best mate by the end of the show. And like and I don't know whether that's just his personality or whether he's learnt that, but by the end of the show, these people, I mean, you just notice it by saying like, they start talking about themselves and what they do. By the end of the show, they are in rabbit holes. Yeah. And they're going, this is who this person really is, you know?
I think, I
was just going to say, but Joe Rogan as well. And this is something that I want to get good at, is that he's more than happy to let them just talk for like 20 minutes, you know, because people have interesting things to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's just that mutual respect that you gain for each other over over a 3-hour period. When he interviewed Wim Hof.
Yeah.
Have you guys interviewed him?
Yeah.
I've in person too.
I played with him.
Unbelievable. I try to do quite a bit of that Wim Hof breathing.
It's good.
Not every day, but I should try and do it every day. But to be able to holding your breath from like 30 seconds to 3 minutes just by doing some breathing exercises for 2 days in a row, there's something in that. But he challenged him. Like, Rogan doesn't just sit there like a muppet
exactly what you're about to talk
and go, allow people, because he's now so educated and done so much homework. If he knows that you're he's going to call you out.
Yeah.
And Wim Hof was talking about training the heavyweight.
Oh, Alistair
Overeem. And he was like, so what did he say? He's like, so you're saying that your breathing exercises can improve the chances of someone staying on their feet and not being knocked out or something like that. He was like, absolutely. He's like, why don't you explain that to me? And he backed him into a corner and kind of had his foot on his throat a bit. He's like, all right, I'll let you off now. But he wasn't going to let him get away with it either. Totally. I think a lot of his listeners probably expect that. They're like, you got to call him out if he's not.
I actually, because I'm very non-confrontational as a person, and when I'm listening to someone say something on the podcast, I'll say, if it's something that I'm like, hang on a fucking second, the listeners either don't understand that, so I need them to delve deeper into it, or that doesn't make any sense, so I've got to pull them up to some degree, then I think of Rogan. I go, you've got to pull him up because Joe would. I think of that. That's what I think.
That's awesome.
And then I'm like, and I feel like I have, that I have to ask a toughish question myself because I owe it to the listeners because they're thinking the same thing. They're like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you'll lose their respect.
Yeah, that's right. So I actually, every time, because I know that of all the podcasts I listen to, I mean, Rogan and The Fighter and The Kid are my two favourites, obviously, but I think of Rogan would pull him up, you got to pull him up. And I'm, hey, what the fuck do you mean by that? Like, explain that.
Well, especially if you wholeheartedly believe in something. Like, I really, really want to get an evangelical Christian on the show and just like debate him for just the whole show, because I could not believe more in the fact that I disrespect and utterly like have a strong contentment for institutionalized spirituality and religion, and I just think it's ridiculous. And like I would love to get, but on the same level, it means lives to people. So I want to get them on the show, and I'm not just going to be like a fucking prick to them, you know, because it makes them tick, and I want to see like why it makes them tick. But I'm also going to be like, man, have you heard this? Have you heard this? Have you heard this? Jesus Christ, are you serious? Like a lot of people think it was a bunch of people. Like, let's just go and just really see what you say.
Have you seen the Book of Mormons?
No, I've got to see the Book of
You've got
Mormons.
to go and see that.
Yeah.
I saw that the other day with Jo and her family, and that is some of the funniest stuff you'll ever see in your life.
I've got to see it.
It's hilarious, but it's just, you know what? I mean, I am a big believer in the fact that I think Australia has gone to the wolves in a lot of ways, because that political correctness that has now taken over our country is we're losing our identity over it, and
So identity politics.
I mean, there's blatant racism is one thing, right? But it's just nice to go and watch the Book of Mormons for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And they spare no one.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, it's just, and everyone fully understands that they're going in there, that there's no harm meant by this. You know, we're not leaving the blacks, the Asians, the Jews, the Christians. No one's safe.
No one's safe.
You know, and it's just to be able to laugh freely at that kind of stuff and not turn around and go, oh, I'll look over my shoulder. Oh, I shouldn't have laughed at that.
Well, that's the beauty of comedy, is the fact that when someone laughs, I mean, you can't control laughter, and so there's got to be an element of truth to that joke. But can you imagine, just on that political correctness sphere, can you imagine if you went and saw a play called The Quran? There would be an uproar. Yeah. People would get murdered.
Well, I
people
don't think if it was funny, I don't think there would be.
Oh, people would get murdered.
Because
Are you serious? People was funny. So there were.
Yeah, I know the France thing. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But my point I was making is comedy and comedians are so important to culture, because they're the only people that can poke fun at shit that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, think of like Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Bill Hicks, all these guys.
Absolutely.
Joe Rogan, that's a lot of his comedies that way. It's like, it's the one time where you can actually get away with it because it's coming from a good place. We all know it's fucked. It's the elephant in the room, and it gets a laugh. It's the way that, because a political satirist or a fucking journalist or a person on a podcast, like, you can't get away with nearly as much because there's no laughter involved. You can get away with fucking anything, and you can tell any story and raise any point if you're a comedian. And I think that's why it's so much better. And like George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy was one of the greats, but he wasn't really political. But those guys that you remember are the guys who were political satirists rather than that were on a stage making people laugh. You know.
I guess the thing about podcasting is it's a tough one, because, you know, they can get away with it essentially because both parties have a leg to stand on because it's a live show. But when we're podcasting and I talk about fucking Islam or I talk about something, the other side doesn't have a leg to stand on because they're not in this room defending themselves through banter and through comedy. Yeah, that's why we just have to be not politically correct, but make sure that we're saying it in such a way that will be like, oh, that's politically incorrect, but it's also, you know,
it's funny,
not genuinely offensive.
Yeah, but I mean, I know. Yeah, look, and it's, I mean, back in before we were born, 70s or 80s or whatever. Yeah, I mean. You know, okay, here's something else. There's one other group of people that can get away with politically incorrectness. Old people.
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
Kids and old people. Yeah. Why should old people... old Jack over there, he's not with it anymore. You know, let him go. Jeez, he's a funny bastard.
He bloody hates the bunks, doesn't he, old Jack?
Yeah, exactly. But what I was getting at was, like, you could actually say, you know, growing up, we'd be like, so bloody Norman, his terry toweling hat would be going with his stubby shorts, go, the silly old walk down the street.
Yeah.
Is that racist? Yeah. Fuck no. It's quite funny. And then the walk down the street's probably talking to his missus in Italian, saying that skippy prick down the street. Yeah. You know, like, but I mean,
fucking kangaroo love a
Yeah,
prick.
yeah,
Even one-
exactly.
even
But it's
one
like,
generation-
but all of that's just like you cannot say that anymore. You cannot. You'll offend so many people. And
yeah.
it's like really,
You're providing
if you
a
can't-
ground for
if you
acceptance.
can't see. I think it's a show. What it is I think it shows a lack of intelligence of the general
totally.
population to not know when someone is just being colloquial or joking,
Yeah.
as opposed to someone who's blatantly racist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
There is
Absolutely.
And
a
the
lot
fact
of them
that-
absolutely no room for.
The fact that we now, as a society, can't actually trust the intelligence of each other to tell the difference between the two, I just think it's getting a bit sad.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is. Especially.
And let me challenge you on something else,
Yeah.
right? And I'm sure there's probably a very small portion of the listening population out there that might watch the footy show or have any idea who Sam Newman is.
yeah.
All right, I don't agree with everything, right? I don't agree with everything he does. But there is a reason when he's at his best, if he's dressing up as a woman, coming in for whatever reason, there is a reason why that gets more people watching it than any other time.
Absolutely.
And as soon as he disappears off that show, their ratings go
Yeah.
down. There's a reason why the Book of Mormons is blowing up around the world,
Yeah.
and that is because people just want to laugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's not because people. I laughed at when he dressed up as an Aboriginal footballer, so
Yeah.
therefore I am racist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, guess
Yeah.
what? Aboriginals have dark skin.
Yeah.
He wanted to dress up as, Jeff Garlett. Well, he can't work out white.
Yeah.
No one's going to recognise
You
it.
know,
we had,
like,
that
it's just-
we had this exact
we had this
conversation
conversation about
today
blackface.
It's
I
just,
totally agree with
you
that.
know,
Yeah, I totally agree with
you
that.
know, again, I will determine if I think Sam's gone too far or anyone else has gone too far, and I think no, you crossed the line. You are.
You're actually
you
being
are actually
racist.
being offensive now and being
Yeah,
racist. But
totally.
if you never go anywhere near that line, we are a much boring society.
Totally.
And I don't know if that's just my opinion. But
And look, like the thing about that is right. Most people will understand when the line's being crossed or when people are just being stupid or just having a bit of banter here and there.
Correct.
And more often than not, and I said this today, is that if you want to call them social justice warriors or the people that are saying, hey, Huey, you can't say that, it's offensive. They're not of the minority you're attacking, quote unquote.
Yeah.
They're standing up for people that literally don't give a fuck.
yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, I heard you say that on the earlier podcast. I don't totally agree with that because we can't actually we're not inside everybody's minds.
No,
I agree with
from
that.
From what I've seen,
Yeah.
the people that are defending the minorities are not, in fact, the minorities.
Yeah, I mean, but that you said that the minorities don't give a fuck, and we don't know that. So
Well,
I'm just
no,
pointing
that
out
was
that
a sweeping
that's
statement.
not,
I
that's
think
not that's not the case, you know.
Okay, well,
I'm
if
sure
that
they
was
care to
my
extent.
view and I was saying that, I would say that you don't have to you don't have to. My opinion is you don't have to say how does that Hispanic community feel about it. It still comes back to the same situation that I raised it before, and that is, if you trust that them like you trust everyone else, they're intelligent enough to determine whether or not it's a joke or not, then that's just how they're allowed to make their own determination as an intelligent human being as to whether they... And if they did see it as offensive, well, okay, you may have stepped over the line, you can apologise for it and move on.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, and also, like, I'm with you on everything, Huey. I'm totally with you. I'm with you, Tommy, as well. But also, like, there's offensive things. There's things that are offensive, like, just because if
things that are objectively offensive
but
as opposed to subjective.
if I'm not black and I see someone spouting the N-word left, right and centre, then it's right. I'm rightfully offended. I think that's an offensive thing. You know what I mean? So I don't think the fact that these social justice warriors aren't in the LGBT or the transgender or black or white, you know, that people can still be offended of offensive things. But the actual what is being deemed offensive is the problem, not the social justice, not the people that aren't in that minority.
That's 100%. It's 100% right. That's what we're all saying.
No, but Tommy said.
But
the way
I do
he
sort of disagree on that.
Yeah,
just because
what he said was not that.
Okay.
It was
I
different
still
what he said.
do believe that SJWs are making issues out of non-issues.
What's
really.
an SJW?
Social justice warrior.
Oh,
Someone
sorry.
who goes,
Yeah, no, you're
hey,
right.
come on.
You're right. And that's that's my point.
But that's
is-
not
is-
black and white. That's not black and white.
But see, you can't put all of... I think if I'm sitting in the middle, if I'm Switzerland here, I think everyone is kind of right in saying the same thing in respect to there's going to be social justice warriors out there who are genuinely offended if someone uses the N-word against a black person.
Yeah.
From
Absolutely.
them personally and on behalf of.
Yeah.
But we all know
Yeah.
that there's bandwagon people out
Yeah,
there
there
that
is,
is
for sure.
like,
No doubt.
I
Agree.
never thought about it. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly,
Oh,
yeah.
All right, give me that placard. I'm going to go to Parliament House. It's like,
Come on, man.
what?
Well, like if I saw, and I totally agree with this as well. I just think that sometimes they do make issues that aren't supposed to be, shouldn't be
No,
issues.
for
But
sure.
like if I saw someone go up to someone and go, "You fucking faggot," I'd be like, "Whoa, what is that for?
That's
Are you
right.
serious?" Like,
But you can tell that that's coming from a place of like hate and anger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, so yesterday, right, I was buying a coffee before I went into work, and this lady walked into the petrol station, and she screamed out at the top of her lungs, "Fuck off, you slut," to this other girl that was walking in. And I had to say something. I was like, "Hey, why are you using that language?" And she was like, "Oh, yeah, but she..." I was like, no. Irrespective of what she did, you don't need to say that sort of stuff. Like, I wasn't personally, like, offended, but, like, it's just not a cool thing to do. You know?
No, and also, you know, then you got to think about who else is around.
Yeah.
You know, are there, you know, other women and kids around that don't need to be hearing that sort of stuff?
Absolutely.
But
What do you reckon? What do you reckon, boys? Is it
good set.
is it knock off
did
time?
Did we go over? We did, didn't we?
We've gone over, mate.
Well, we've gone over
We
an hour
went
and a half.
miles over. For the listeners, it's Friday night. We said we'd do a nice catch-up, 45-minute catch-up with Huey, and
It's now 4 a.m. There are wines on the table.
Yeah, it's.
You did shout me a couple of beers though, so I appreciate that.
So, Huey, give us some lasting advice or some final advice for us just to go off for the next week. What's something, mate?
Don't take yourselves or your lives too seriously.
I like that. I
There
like
you
it a
go.
lot.
As a nice way of closing off that final discussion.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't take yourselves too seriously, and that's about it. That's about it.
Huey, where can people find you? Anything you want to
Andrew
plug?
Hewison. You basically search it on any social media platform and I'll be there.
the biggest one.
LinkedIn,
You're the big
Instagram,
star.
Twitter. What's that?
You're the star. You're
He's got the blue tick on
There's
Instagram.
just-
Yeah, you're the
there's
real
just-
Andrew Hewison.
Hewison.
There's just not that many people out there with my name. It's good. It's good.
Sweet.
No, but, hey, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. Maybe
Yeah, always
the
a good
listeners
show,
have
mate.
probably had enough of me now, but maybe I'll come back next year and just give some parenting advice or something.
Very true. We'll get you on when you're a father.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a cool title.
And if you ever want to talk about the A to Z of shoulder reconstruction, rehabilitation, I plan to hack the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I'll be back snatching after 3 months. Just look out.
Beautiful.
Alrighty, well, thanks for coming on the show, Huey, and that's a wrap. Alrighty, guys, if you liked what you heard there with Huey and myself and Tommy, then make sure that you go and subscribe. If you've already subscribed, please leave us a rating and review. If you've already left us a rating and review, please send cash directly to Adventure Fit Travel. We can be found on Google. The website is there. Just send not a money order, not a check. Just send cold hard cash straight into the old inbox. That'll go straight into my pocket and then straight down to the local cocaine store. So but also, guys, you can go to the show notes at www.adventurefittravel.com/radio. Anything that was mentioned in the show will be linked there. Also, check out quashcreative.com. Use the code REDRADIO. You also don't forget to check out audibletrial.com/ADVF radio. And last but not least, or in fact, last and most importantly, head to adventurefittravel.com, use the code RADIO, and you get 10% off there. Anybody who wants to run private trips through us for their community, email doc@adventurefittravel.com. That's me. And see you next week.
Discovery Roger, go for deploy.